Welcome back to the series. In the last episode we were so close to getting the engine turned over. I have had the battery on charge, so hopefully today we can get it turning. I am just checking the fluid levels that I topped off yesterday. I have noticed the water has dropped down from the header and we have a puddle under the car, so I need to investigate where that leak is coming from. The good news is we have a fully charged battery, so I'll just check the voltage on that before we try and start it. But my first port of call is to find out where the water is coming from. It's obvious to see where it's dripping down from the subframe. It seems to be trickling down from the engine mount, but other than that, it's very hard to tell where the leak is coming from. As far as I can tell, it's not coming from anywhere near the top of the engine. It could be coming from somewhere at the back of the engine. I'll do some further investigation just to double check it's not something really simple, and then I'll check back in. Before I start tearing things apart though, I want to see if the engine turns over now I've charged the battery. The good news is it's turning over. Bad news is the oil light hasn't gone off yet. I'll give the starter motor a minute and then we'll go again. Come on. Damn. Still no oil pressure. I have just slackened off the oil filter in case there is an airlock between the pickup pipe and the pump. So if I turn the engine over now and oil comes out where the oil filter goes, then I know at least it's getting that far. That's what I'll do next. Some oil coming out, not much though. Maybe I'll just drain some of the oil out and see if that helps. So I've taken the filter off completely now. I'll turn it over. Hopefully I'll be able to hear oil dripping down into the pan. Still nothing. Before I continue trying to get oil pressure, I'm just going to check that the sensor is working properly. Now if I get compressed air and try and open the diaphragm, we'll see if it's working. I'm just going to test it on the bench. Yeah, I'd say that's working. Now we have around 22 litres in the fuel tank. I am just checking all the pipes are connected. The next thing to do is to plug the in-tank fuel pump back in. So just to reconfirm, my aim here is to momentarily start the engine so I get enough RPM to hopefully get fuel pressure in the engine and for the light to go out. If the engine does start, I'll quickly shut it back off. Before I try and start the car, I'm going to double check the fuel system is working, as it's had no testing whatsoever. So I've got the fuse in the relay, and this is for the external pump. I'm just double checking these joins to the pipes that go to the fuel tank. So with the fuel pump plugged in, let's see if it fires up. You can hear the swirl pot filling up. probably completely empty, so it's just priming through. I'll get the battery on. You can hear it going through the regulator now. You can smell fuel quite a lot. Okay, diagnose that. So this pipe was the culprit. I've changed the Jubilee clip because I think it was failing. Okay, I've fixed that leak, have it running over the top of the engine for now. I will now see if the external fuel pump fires up. We now have a leak from here. I've just found another fuel leak. Unfortunately, it's coming from the hard line underneath the inlet, just down there somewhere. I won't try and start it with a fuel leak, so I'll have to hit pause on trying to get oil pressure. I need to take the inlet manifold back off the engine, unfortunately. I have a pressure gauge ordered for this regulator as well, so once I get that, I know exactly what fuel pressure I'll have. I personally didn't think this setup will be turnkey first time anyway. Even though I want to get the car running for Pugfest this year, which is mid-July, I still have a fair bit of time to sort these issues out. I'll get the parts trays out and I'll start getting the bits off. I think I'm going to need a new set of gaskets. Now I have more space on top of the engine, I will refill the header with water and see if I can identify where the leak is coming from. I still cannot identify where the water leak is coming from. It does seem like it stopped, and I'll just have to monitor it. The fuel leak was coming from around here somewhere. I thought when I modified this rigid pipe, I nicked it. I can't seem to see that damage. The Jubilee clip was slightly loose, so the fuel could have been spraying out of that joint. Really hard to tell. When I was just reaching down with my hand, I could just feel the spray. I'm just going to connect the inlet manifold back up to the fuel, prime the fuel back through, and then see what leaks. Hopefully it's just a loose connection. It's connected back up, so I'm going to turn the ignition on. Just run the in-tank pump first, see if there's any leaks, and then I'll put the high pressure pump on. I mainly want to check if it was just a loose connection that was causing the leak there. It's actually coming from the injector. It's in fact leaking around the seal on the top. It's bad. So I need to get the injector out and see what's going on there. I've left this overnight. It's dropped slightly. There is now a puddle of water on top of the engine, which I can only presume is coming from this manifold. But underneath, we still have it dripping off the subframe. I don't think they're related. Actually, we've got two leaks. I believe I found the water leak coming from the back. Should be the water feed for the turbo. You can see the banjo going into the block there. It was loose, and I did run a finger under the bolt, and it was damp. Now I've tightened that up, I can monitor that leak. Before I go ahead and take this water gallery off the engine, I have just mopped up all of the water that was sat on the top. I'll top it again and then I can monitor it. I want to be 100% sure there's a genuine leak. See the O-ring on the top? That was it. What I'm going to do is swap an O-ring from the old injectors, see how they fit, because I'm a dodgy guy. Before I put the injector back in, I'm going to check there's nothing rough on the inside of this rail. Going back to the water leak, already you can see there's water down there. Once I get the injector back in and tested, I'll get onto this. All seems okay. I'm reasonably confident now we have no fuel leaks from anywhere in the fuel circuit. So back to the issue of the water leak. You can see that's not a good sign. think I've tracked it down to the pipes that I took off that go to the inlet. As I topped off the fluids last night, the pressure has obviously pushed some out. It's been dripping around the top of the gearbox down onto the floor. I believe the only water leak now is this one. Now I'll take this plenum off and then see what's going on around here. So all of this, the water problem was a stupid mistake. On this plenum or crossover manifold, I had not refitted the coolant temp sensor. All there was over this hole was a piece of tape. The water must have just been seeping out under the bottom of this plenum. So I'm hoping it's a simple fix, but a stupid one at that. Now we have the sensor back in. Just going to put a small amount of Hylamar sealant in the well where the O-ring sits, just to be extra secure. Let me know in the comments below if you picked up on this issue before I pointed it out. Be interesting to see who has a keen eye. Now that I have this back on, I'm going to wait a couple of hours for the sealant to dry before I fill the system again with water. Good news, as far as I'm aware, there are no more water leaks. It's weeping slightly through the threads of the bolt in that one. You can see there's a tiny bit of water in there. I wanted to connect it back up properly. That'll be absolutely fine. Those two pipes must have been slowly leaking down the back of the gearbox. As soon as I get the replacement gaskets, I can get it all back together and then try again. Now that we've got to this stage with the Peugaru, it's now a push to get the car running for Pugfest, which is Sunday the 16th of July. I will do all I can to get the car up and running so we can hopefully take it up the hill. As you know, it is a fresh build, so there could be some issues along the line which prevents us from running the car. Either way, it will be there on display. So for any of you that want to come and see the car in the flesh, we would love to see you there. It's at Prescott hill climb, which is fairly central in the country. From now, I have about 2 months to get the car running, get it dynoed, and get all the elements sorted. Should be doable. And look what came in the post. I was shocked to see them turn up on a bank holiday. We're very used to the Royal Mail striking nowadays. That's good news. I can get the inlet manifold back on the engine now and we can see if we can start it. So it should be all back together now. I guess I gotta see if it starts. It runs. And the oil pressure light went off. Starts. Bloody starts. So after almost 3 years, we finally have this engine running. Thanks as always for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon.